Hey, what's poppin' YouTube? 911 the baby go. Welcome to the Go Farm. I got something for you. The time that I got past the Secret Service to eat lunch with the president. In this story, we were in the middle of deployment. I was not a qualified director at the time, but I was in training to be one. But this is important because it goes into the story. Unless you are a qualified director, you were not allowed to actually tell the pilots or anyone else on the flight deck at the time to move an aircraft without someone qualified being there to shadow you. So the most that you could do is just hold it, just tell it not to go anywhere. That's the most you could do as an unqualified flight director, or what we call yellow shirt on the flight deck. And we had already got news that the now president of the United States, then vice president of the United States, Joe Biden, was coming onto our ship, USS Cell Block 74. And listen, I'm not gonna get big into politics, whether you like him, dislike him, that's not the point of the story. I just thought it was cool that the vice president of the United States was coming onto the ship. And if given the opportunity, I wanted to meet him. So once he actually landed on the plane, he got the fuck on down as fast as possible. And then I followed suit. I tried to get the fuck on down as fast as possible. And then I had one of my first classes that was like, Reed, where you going? I was like, I'm gonna try to meet and take a picture with the vice president of the United States of America. He was like, you just gonna leave the flight deck, huh? You just gonna leave your job and responsibilities, huh? I'm like, one, there are plenty of people up here right now. You don't need me. Two, it's about time for my lunch break any fucking way. Three, you've been in the military for almost 16 plus years. There's no telling the powerful or influential or famous people you've met by now. I'm just a young dude with his nose all up in the air. I want to meet the vice president of the United States of America. So he tried to like gaslight me into thinking that I was just being irresponsible and left the decision up to me. Because to be honest with you, he was not directly responsible for me in the first place. He was just one of them motherfuckers that just like fucking with people. But not in the fucking with people like, oh, I'm just pulling your leg. No, he just likes fucking with people. A lot of people called him Eminem because he was like a white dude that always quote unquote spoke black. Yeah, man, dog, you just gonna leave the flight deck, dog? And man, yo, the fuck away from me, bro. I ain't trying to hear none of that shit you talking about. Testing me, gaslighting me. I felt the fuck out of that because I got the fuck on down. So I go inside of the ship, right? And I'm trying to figure out where the hell is the vice president. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to my best friend, my homegirl, Hawkins. We call her Hawk Daddy on the ship. I said, I'm gonna go to her office and see if she heard anything, because she always had information. She always had her ear out to the goddamn ship. She always knew what the hell was going on before I did. I go to her office and her first class is like, she ain't here. She went to lunch. So I said, fuck it. I'm gonna go to the galley and see where she at, see if she heard anything. And I'm moving fast, right? Because I'm like, you know, when a lot of people visit the ship, they like to kind of look at different things on the ship. So they do a little bit of exploring before they eventually get to where they gotta go, which is usually talking to the commanding officer or one of the admirals if they just so happen to be on the ship. And as I go into the galley, lo and behold, guess who I see? Obviously, not only do I see the vice president with the Secret Service, but I see my friend Hawk Daddy, which you may have seen her on one of my previous episodes of the DDT 14. Check out that podcast on the channel if you have not checked it out. I see Hawk Daddy eating with the damn vice president. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm walking up. I swear to God, I walk up all casually and shit, like shit cool. And then the Secret Service just got right in front of my ass and just like did like a thump and then pushed my ass back. I'm not gonna hold you. My first thought was, hey, bitch ass, you don't get the fuck out of my face. But then I had to think about it. He just did a little thump. Like it wasn't even like, he didn't even like flex his whole arm out. The motherfucker must use hockey or some shit, because he just did this and then my body went flying. So obviously I'm annoyed, but I'm like, okay, I gotta keep my cool. I start talking to him like, hey, that's my best friend eating with the vice president. Do you mind if I like just get a word in with her? The motherfucker didn't even answer me. He just shook his head no. Standing in all black, looking like one of the motherfuckers off fucking Lilo and Stitch. And it was crazy. I'm like trying to get Hawkins' attention, so I like lean over just a little bit. I bullshit you not. This motherfucker leaned over with me. Like it was wild. Like we were in sync. And I thought it was coincidence at first, so I leaned over a little bit more after that first leaned over. He leaned over with my ass. I'm like, bruh, what the fuck? And yes, there was more than one member of the Secret Service that was there, but the other dude that was on his left-hand side was not paying attention to my ass. I mean, he was paying attention to me, but like, you can tell he was kind of like, all right, he got it. So I'm annoyed as fuck inside of my head. I'm like, bro, I will beat your motherfucking ass, bro. I mean, I'm thinking that, but like I said, he had hockey and I knew that shit wasn't gonna happen. For a second, I thought I was gonna do some slick shit, because there was like a rope that I could have kind of went over, climbed over to try to get to the vice president. But he saw me look at the rope, and then I looked back at him to see if he saw me look at the rope. And then he just did, I swear to God, he just did this. Like, He just made one quick no. You know how like when most people say no, they do this? Like they let it go on for a little bit. This motherfucker, I'm like, I don't even know how the fuck he knew what I was thinking. Like it was barely even a thought. Like it came and then it went. So I had got a bright idea and I just said, you know what? Fuck it. You can stop where I move, but you can't stop me from talking loud enough to be heard. So I just go, Hulk Daddy. At the time, Vice President Biden just kind of looked up, Hulk Daddy. Bro, I'm gonna tell y'all, I do not be having, I have no chill. And then she looks up at me and then she's like, oh shit. And then I had my hand out like this, like, and so Hulk looked at the vice president and she was like, oh, that's my best friend. Do you mind if he comes eat with us? And that's when at the time, Vice President Joe Biden was like, oh yeah, sure. He gave the signal like, yeah, sure, come on. And so he told the Secret Service, let him come through or whatnot. And so they made an opening for me and let me walk through. I'm not gonna lie, bro, I swear to God, I'm not gonna lie to you. While I was walking, I was thinking about like doing something like, yeah, bitch ass nigga. Like, I'm not even just trying to tell a good story. I swear I was thinking about doing that, but I was like, bro, if they beat my ass for saying some shit like that and this shit makes like global news, I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to live this down. So I just swallowed my pride like a bitch yet again. I went, sat down with the vice president and my best friend. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even remember what the fuck we talked about. I don't think it was really about much that we talked about. We were just eating, and I remember he said, the food was real good, and he was eating some corn. Now, in my head, I was thinking, man, this shit trash. But, you know, I'm playing I'm being all polite. I was like, yes, sir, it's the best in the Navy. Sometimes I wish I could just go back and kick myself in my own ass. This bullshit that the CS has whipped up. It got to a point when he was done eating with his food. There were two other people that were cranking at the time. And what cranking is basically when, it's stupid. I hope the Navy changes this, but it's basically when they take people out of their division and bring them down to the galley to be the CS's little bitches, basically. Do all the cleaning up of the dishes and all the shit that the CS's mess up when they're making food. Yeah, they make you serve it and clean it. And if you pretty, oh, that's when you go cranking in like the chief's mess or the ward room where the officers is at, you know, so you can be some nice eye candy for them to look at while you serve them their food. I mean, okay, I'm being facetious, but I'm also being honest, because you can be a guy that's cranking as a male. It's just the stereotype, which has a lot of truth to it, is that if you're an attractive woman, you usually go cranking not where, you know, the normal regular enlisted people eat, but where the chiefs or where the officers eat specifically, because you're good looking, eye candy, serve me my food, boost up my ego, make me feel like the shit. But the benefit of that is that you don't have to work for as many people or as hard. So being an attractive young woman has its perks in the military because it's a big boys club. That's neither here nor there. Back to the vice president. We decided to take a picture. The people that was in the vicinity that technically had to work in his vicinity wanted to take a picture with him. They brought up the idea, and so we all just kind of took a quick picture. After that, I shook his hand, said that it was nice to meet him. Oh, that's what I remember asking him a couple questions about Barack Obama. It wasn't nothing big. I was just asking how is he, what is he like, all that. He gave standard answers like he's doing pretty good, yada yada yada, nothing special. And I eventually went back up to the flight deck and then started holding an aircraft, letting it know that it can't move. And then that first class from earlier, yeah, dog, what you gonna do, dog? You gonna leave behind your responsibilities, dog? He saw me and just kind of shook his head, but he gave, like, you know, he gave the shake of disappointment. At least it was more shakes than the damn Secret Service did. I ain't give a fuck. I'm like, I probably never get this opportunity to sit down and eat dinner with the vice president ever again in my life. I damn sure didn't know at that time that he would become the future president of the United States of America. So that's a story that I can always tell. Hell, I'm not even in the military anymore. Imagine if I would have actually let him, imagine if I were to allow him to make me feel bad for wanting to go down there as an unqualified flight director who could not do anything without a qualified flight director when you didn't need me because there was not enough going on the flight deck at the time to miss out on that opportunity. Fuck out of here. At the end of the day, I am glad that I decided to go down and eat lunch with the vice president at the time. The funniest part about this whole story was probably hearing Joe Biden mumble the words, Hulk Daddy. 9/11 the Baby Go. Thank you guys so much for joining the Go Farm. Be sure to drop down in the comment section below. Share your stories if you have any sea stories, or let me know what you thought about this one. Like the video so that this can reach out to a larger audience. The DDT-14 is returning. Be on the lookout for that. Share this channel with a friend if you think it may interest them, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace. Hulk Daddy. I'll see y'all.